like one of the previous videos we've made this year, there are so many storylines that we could talk about when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks versus the New York Islanders on Wednesday, November 15th, 2023, aka Diwali night. Big celebrations, lots of tributes. They did the video with Ian Cole and the food during the second intermission. Awesome, awesome stuff. The Canucks, especially since they are based here in Vancouver and there is such a great Hindu-Indian community in this area, it was just awesome to see the tribute done, awesome to see the logo, the design out there, and of course all of the celebrations happening within the game. The Vancouver Canucks never hold back when it comes to celebrating different people in our communities. But this game has, right off the top of my head, okay, let's talk about 1, 2, we could do 3, maybe 4, 5 things. We could talk about 5 really big things that happened in this game. Firstly, the Vancouver Canucks end up winning. They win 4-3 in overtime, and with this result, they are now tied with the Vegas Golden Knights for first in the entire Western Conference and second in the NHL, but because of the tiebreaker, regulation and overtime wins being in the Canucks' favor, the Canucks are the best team in the West right now. Vegas does not have as many regulation and overtime wins. They have gotten a few done in the shootout. The Vancouver Canucks did not need to do so, so they are number 1. Second topic that we can talk about, the points. You had 3-point games out of Brock Boeser, which is amazing. Great to see him getting a goal and 2 assists like we know he has been capable of doing this season. JT Miller does the same, a goal, 2 assists. Quinn Hughes does the same, a goal and 2 assists. Ilya PETTERSSON only had 1 point tonight, but that's fine, because that guy is still first in the NHL in points. He goes from 25 to 26. Miller and Hughes both had 23 points coming into the night, and because they each got 3, they're at 26 too. The Vancouver Canucks have a 3-headed monster at the top of the points race once again. Pettersson, Miller, and Hughes are 1, 2, 3 in a tie above everybody else. Artemi Panarin and the Rangers did not play today. The Bruins, Pastrnak, did not play today. You also have Sam Reinhart on the Florida Panthers. Guess what? Did not play today. So it literally is P.D. Miller and Hughes as the top 3 guys in the NHL in points. That is phenomenal. And they're isolated. It's not a tie with anybody else. They're tied with themselves. And Quinn Hughes is a defenseman, dude. It was such a good decision for me to get all of my favorite Vancouver Canucks players, except for Boeser. I didn't get him on my fantasy team. We have our third topic that we can talk about in regards to this game. Outside of the points standings, outside of the points race, we have ourselves the captain's showdown. Bo Horvat made his return to Vancouver. There were a lot of cheers during the video tribute. The guy teared up. That was heartwarming to see. There were also a few boos. Early on in the game, especially when Bo Horvat touched the puck, you heard the boos raining in Rogers Arena. I feel like they kind of started to wane as the game went on. But big captain showdown here. There's an angle with this for sure, because not only does Bo Horvat get himself a goal in this one, but Quinn Hughes battles back and gets the overtime winner. Yeah, did we say that yet? Overtime win for the Vancouver Canucks scored by Quinn Hughes on a breakaway. We'll get into all that and more as the video goes on. We also do have another topic that I think we need to address with this game, and that is the unfortunate loss of Andrei Kuzmenko. Whilst the Canucks had a 5-on-3 in the third period, JT Miller fires and wires a one-time blast on goal. Just kidding, it doesn't go on goal. It misses the net by a mile, and Andrei Kuzmenko gets it off of his shoulder and maybe off of some part of his neck, maybe his Adam's apple. It didn't really look like anything definitively clear based off of the angles that we saw, but he was bleeding, he was hobbling around on the ice, he did have to get taken out and removed from the game. Andrei Kuzmenko, man, hopefully he's able to recover to the best of his ability. And then the other aspect of this game that we can talk about was just the pace of the game in general. We can talk about Sorokin, we can talk about Demko. They both stood tall to play. Even though this is a 4-3 game, both of these goalies let in a few pucks, they still were phenomenal in this game. There are a few extra things that we could also talk about. You could talk about the referees. I'll say this right off the bat. I do think that, especially in that third period, the Vancouver Canucks got away with a lot of stuff that could have gotten called, and I do think the refs were a little bit more harsh on the Islanders. That's just my subjective opinion. Obviously, I'm a Canucks fan, so I'm going to cheer for the Canucks whenever they do stuff and they win. But this was very interesting to watch. Guys like Anthony Beauvillier and Tyler Myers tripping guys and hitting guys in the back and stuff and it not being called. I get it, the referees don't want to make hard decisions at the end of games, especially when it's tied, but at the same time, I did think it was noteworthy enough to bring that up. Also, extra notes I wanted to talk about here. Us Canucks fans here on the West Coast, we wouldn't have known this, but apparently a lot of the Islanders fans were pretty pissed off with their broadcast tonight because you had a certain color commentator that would not shut up about the Swedish cobblestone roads. It was really weird. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know too many Islanders fans who will be tuning into this video, but this is mostly a Canucks celebration of Diwali night as well as the result on paper. The Vancouver Canucks battled back after being down 2-0 in this game to rally back against all odds and win in overtime. The first 2 goals of the game scored by the New York Islanders. Pretty odd plays, I'm not going to lie. Pierre Engvall gets the first goal 7 minutes into the game. He got the puck on the left side and just ripped a shot by Demko. It goes through the guy. It's very strange, but upon video replay, we see that it actually goes off of Dakota Joshua's stick. So that is the 1-0 goal for the Islanders 7 minutes into the first. And then, just about a minute later, you have yourselves another goal scored by the Isles. Brock Nelson makes it 2-0 after he throws it on goal, picks up his own rebound, and ends up putting it in the back of the cage. The Vancouver Canucks cannot clear. I'm going to be honest, the Canucks didn't really look all too great in this first period for the most part. Sure, like, they had chances towards the end, but that first half of the first period definitely was more so in the Islanders' favor. They had most of the possession and most of the chances. The Canucks, I mean, the shots on goal were like 10-3 New York at one point in this game. It was off-putting. But a lot of the chances the Canucks got in this first period were also kind of fumbled and maybe not fully what they wanted to do. They didn't really get their groove on in this first period. The second period comes along, though, and this is where the Canucks start to take advantage because the Islanders go to the box, it's Cal Clutterbuck for boarding, and Miller ends up scoring just a few minutes later. Great power play goal, great power play in general. Lots of movement, lots of chances. There was a PD cross crease to Kuzmenko that missed. Kuzmenko then gets the puck back behind the net, passes it to PD. PD across crease to Miller, who one-times it right in by Sorokin, bringing the lead for the Islanders back down to 1. And then the Islanders get that 2-goal lead right back as the Canucks fail to break out of their own zone, and Bo Horvat gets a little give-and-go tic-tac-toe with Barzal. Horvat one-times it into the back of the net. It's now 3-1. You can hear the boos, kind of, from the Canucks fans because, hey, their old captain just scored a very important goal. But the tides change once more as Vancouver gets on the power play once again. Noah Dobson goes off on interference. Hughes goes down low to Miller in the corner. Chips a pass in front for Boeser, who one-times it in and brings the game back within 1. With 9 minutes to go in the second period, it's a 1-goal lead, and then there aren't any goals scored. After that, until the third period, there are a few great saves made. There was a breakaway for Palmieri. Demko made a great save there. Dakota Joshua drew a few penalties in this one. The Canucks then start fumbling a little bit of their power play mojo. They still look good. They have great possession, but they're not able to score until the third period when the Canucks get even more power plays. Scott Mayfield tripped Garland. That power play resulted in an Islander kill, but the Canucks still looked pretty good. And then Kuzmenko drew 2 power plays in one shift to give the Canucks a 2-man advantage. It was on this 2-minute 5-on-3 that Kuzmenko ends up getting hurt, as we talked about earlier, but eventually, with 13 seconds left, it is Filip Hronek who ends up scoring. A little give-and-go pass after Kuzmenko gets out. Hronek comes in. Hughes over to Hronek with the one-time blast right underneath the glove. It's a 3-3 game, and the rest of the third period was just awesome. So many great chances for both teams, such good pace. Both of these teams were not playing for overtime. They wanted to get it done in regulation, and that was literally the case until the last second on the clock when Brock Boeser had a really nice in-tight chance. Overtime begins, and this is where the Canucks start to really put the pressure on even more. JT Miller almost won it 5 seconds into overtime, but after a few more passing plays and opportunities, the Canucks eventually get that line back out there. Miller draws everybody to him in the neutral zone and then throws a pass up to Quinn Hughes, who beats his check Barzal, gets one-on-one with Sorokin, freezes the goalie, and just snipes it right by. Quinn Hughes and JT Miller getting a goal and assist, at the end of the game to bring themselves up to tying Elias Pettersson for first in the NHL in points. How crazy is that? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Islanders and the Canucks overtime game here. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99 and bye.